Okay, what's going on YouTube? We're going to be going over AngryBird. I'm not going to spend too much time giving you this position. This is a fight between AngryBird and Akainu. If you don't know who Akainu is, he's a very strong Guile player. That being said, we're going to be looking over what AngryBird does and why you should be implementing it a little bit more often. Okay, that was more so just to confirm off the standing medium kick. Ideally, guys, this is more so for my younger, okay, let's call them early in the platinum. So we're talking about like silvers, we're talking about golds, we're talking about platinums. When you press your standing medium kick, stop there, okay? Unless you see it physically punish counter, you don't want to be pressing the rest of it because the rest of it is really punishable, okay? Okay, you ran for it with punish. Ken players, I need you guys to know how active this button is, okay? It's a really strong button to throw out because of how active it is. Jump. Did Jinrai. So this is an answer. I know we're talking about Ken, but I want to throw this in there. If you are ever fighting Ken, right, and you do have an invincible reversal of some sort, this being like any sort of DPs or anything of that sort, or a flash kick, right, just know that in the gap here you can always go for this option. Now you don't want to always go for this option because the fact that it does spend 2 of your meter, you don't want to be using it all the time, but it is a good way to break out in the case that he's consistently doing it, and it's a good way in this specific case to go for it because it gets the opponent off of you as well, right? Yep, playing the struggle that is Guile. This is the problem with Guile, right? Okay, gonna spend 1. That's it. Push up. Particularly annoying thing about Guile is the fact that like he can drive rush very comfortably, and his drive rush is pretty strong. So when you think that he's zoning the entire time, you can just run up and leave. B+ off the situation. Perfect parry, going for the basic combo into the corner. Now he has to guess, right? All of this here, after this situation here, gonna have to guess between throw or strike. Basic offense, nothing too crazy. He gets the hit, right? I assume he went for crouch jab again. In that case, he did get invincible DP'd. So if you clicked on this video, I'm sure you need some help. Lord knows I did at some point. But here's the thing, you want your favorite content creators to come and help you. But let's be real, they're charging like $60 per hour. You don't need that. But when I got you good. Over on this channel, I do free coaching sessions on Tuesdays and on Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. EST. So what does that look like? I essentially go over your matches. I give you tools so that you can succeed the next time you open up rank. So once again, join my Discord. Wait till I'm live either on Tuesdays or on Thursdays 6:30 p.m. EST. Be there or be square. And yeah, I'm not your favorite pro, but I'm available. Those pros are not available. So once again, join the live, get better, and I'll help you improve. Back to the video. Wow, okay, I was about to say. Okay, see, now this is something that's different. My Master Kens, this is something that, okay, I could not, me personally could not. But I understand the mentality. The mentality behind it is the fact that the next thing that comes after the blooms technically isn't going to be a combo. So trying to attempt to perfect parry the situation is not bad. The thing is that it's very hard to be situationally aware of something like this. That's why we don't see it too much at like the different ranks. However, this is something that when it comes to the Masters folk, you want to kind of learn to incorporate, is that if you notice or you see something that you know isn't going to combo and they're going to try and do something a little bit fraudulent and get a little bit extra out of the situation, you can try and perfect parry the situation. Yeah. Okay, we're going for level 3 here, namely because it puts them either in burnout or very close to burnout. Now he is in burnout, so now off of this situation here, he has to be really mindful. We actually just made a video about checkmate situations. Now this situation is not checkmate because he still has level 1 available. However, depending on when he uses this level 1, it could very well put him into the checkmate situation. So he has to be, Akainu has to be very mindful of where he decides to use his level 1, and on top of which AngryBird is at a really good advantage here. So, had the guess, and it's GG's. Oh, he didn't have charge, so he didn't go for it. Dang. Nice. So in this sequence here, there is something I want to note, right? And this is something that we all can improve against when it comes to Guile, is where that the moment a lot of us get a little bit uncomfortable with blocking and or parrying these booms, we immediately gravitate to jump or some sort of anti-projectile move. But what I would suggest to you is not always gravitating to that option and being a little bit more patient. Now, the reason why we want to be a little bit more patient is because there may be a situation where if you happen to perfect parry, in the case that he tries to boom and drive rush, in this specific case right here, let's say you perfect parry the boom, then you are also in the perfect space to interrupt this. So patience is also simultaneously rewarded in these cases, and is something you might want to keep in mind. And also I want to actually note as well, even though he was unsuccessful here, I could almost guarantee the fact that he went for a second tap on perfect parry for this situation here. Right, so we tried to perfect parry the first fireball. It was unsuccessful, but then we also tried to tap it again in order to try and perfect parry this knee as well. Okay, that's playing real patient. See, not feeding into the jumps, because what Guile wants you to do with all these perfects is that he's holding on to charge right now, right? He wants to make sure that you're jumping into him, but he's not. AngryBird is purposely not feeding into it. This is something that I see a lot of Kens not do, right? Granted, this matchup is a little bit harder for AngryBird to do comfortably, but I need a lot of Kens doing a little this a lot more, is the fact that you can do drive rush jab. Right, this drive rush jab not only hits from mad far away, but it also leaves them really plus and in their face. So what you can start to do is that you put them in guessing situations, right? In some cases you might even get a counter hit, and in the cases that you do get a counter hit, you do actually get a combo off of it, and you can carry them to the corner. Then you can run your offense that way. But it's definitely something to keep in mind, the fact that you can pull this out. But the thing is, you don't want to be really predictable, because if you're doing drive rush jab the entire time, your opponent's going to adapt, and then at that point you're kind of cooked, right? But sprinkle it in like some salt, like, you know, like your salt bait. You feel me? You start doing that, you're good to go. Crouching combo, smash on the situation. Wow, he's just been unsuccessful there. He's been really unsuccessful here. So a lot of these situations here where he's doing boom into drive rush have been very unsuccessful, namely because he's been going for stand jab. Again, not vouching for always going for stand jab when Guile goes for boom into drive rush, but it is something to possibly keep in mind as well. Now he went for the chip out. The chip out was successful, and then we rock from there. This is also something that I want you guys to be comfortable with, right? Sometimes I get it is expensive, but it is for the long term, okay? Something that you guys don't do is the fact that you need to be okay with doing button drive rush into throw. I get that it's expensive, okay? I get that you're spending a lot of juice in order to get this going, but the reason why it's really good is because it starts to condition your opponent. It starts to make you a little bit less predictable, because if you're going for button, you button into drive rush, cancel, into stand jab or standing medium punch or whatever button you're doing, you're making yourself very predictable. You want to change up the way you do your offense, because the thing is that when you start incorporating grabs, right, then they think, oh shoot, I need to tech off of this situation. When they start trying to tech, that's when we can actively start trying to blow them up for tech, right? It opens up a different world for this, right? That's something that I would like to say, not only Ken players, but people across the board. If you do a button into drive rush, you want to start incorporating that a little bit more. Watch your dome. Level 3. You see, the level 3 is good for AngryBird here because it's very hard for him to make up level 3 again. So like his comeback is a little bit shot, but yeah, hard. It's definitely hard. Okay, one for a jab. Push up. Remember, these guys don't have access to drive brush cancel unless they're comfortable with the idea that they're burning themselves out. So even this decision right here was very risky, because this was on the assumption, or at least the hope, that you would be successful off of this situation here. And with that being said, you want to be a little bit more careful, right, when it comes to situations like this. Maybe you wasn't watched, and you know, let's be honest here, right? Pros are really good, really aware, but they're not perfect, right? And they can decide to do very questionable things at certain times. Like sometimes you'll be like, why did he master? Why did he hold up there, right? This is one of those times where I feel like, you know, it's definitely questionable to go in for the attack, especially when you have very little drive gauge left. But with that being said, let's see how he plays out the situation in Burnout. So while you're in Burnout, you gotta remember that you have to play really defensive, because what did he press? He must have tried to go for a throw, but they okay, but this works out in his favor because now he kind of just has to wait out the time. This is also about using your health resource. Okay, so what do I mean by health resource? Now that he's successfully hit this level 3, right, forget this damage. This damage is good, don't get me wrong, it's really good to have, but more so it gives us time to recover our burnout state, right? So now that our burnout state has come back, for the most part, there's no need to take extra risks here, as in trying to get offensive, unless they do something overtly unsafe. So here he can use his health resource essentially to eat all these booms. Be patient, no need to do anything extra. Now he can get the party started. Wow. Yeah, well, now you're in a situation. Now this is what we call checkmate, or actually not checkmate, very close to check, but in most, for other characters, actually that. Oh, that got scrambling. Oh, that got scrambling. Oh, that got... So let me correct myself. It's not checkmate here, right? If he didn't have the Sonic Blade situation, he can definitely force something that's very close to check. If he's a character that doesn't have a projectile, it would most likely be a checkmate. But with that being said, Guile can still fight it out here. Okay, here this is a boom, right? This, obviously this right here was an attempt at a boom. This right here is checkmate. If he did this correctly, it was checkmate. It ended up working out anyway, but that was a checkmate situation. Anyways, I could keep going, but with that being said, I'm gonna stop there. Just a little bit of information for you guys into the mind of how AngryBird thinks about these things. Want to make sure that you guys are getting a little bit extra information. Been a little while since I've done a pro analysis here. Hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, comment down below. Appreciate y'all. Peace.